Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you, Undersecretary General, about your China trip last year. You were shown around also a whole range of projects featuring smart cities, urban city living philosophies. What were the things that impressed you the most?
So I think China is evolving a lot in terms of smart living, let's say so. I visited some prototypes of homes that are impressively smart that caught my attention. I thought it was very, very interesting. But also the urban renewal projects that I
But
saw.
the smart city thing, exactly how smart?
Well, I was talking about the housing first, right? The prototypes of housing that can maximize the living space in a way that you can use the house in a very smart way in terms of the space that the house offers and how you can transform spaces, even small spaces, you can transform, right? And you can maximize the use of a kitchen and the use of the living room and the bedroom, how all is transformed through technology, and you can have the different environments in a very small place change.
You think that's what we're headed in the near future, or is just a prototype of ideal housing?
I don't know. It's a prototype. But perhaps, yes, perhaps this is the way that we're going to live in the future. And China is looking at that, right? How we can maximize even smaller spaces in the cities for a family to live well. And then the technology in the cities itself, right? How the cities are being built and using with the use of technology. I appreciate the concept or the technology of the sponge cities that can be used, if I understand correctly, micro, but also in large scale to help cities being more resilient to floods. This is a concept that other cities in the world are exploring. Right now, there is a project of UN-Habitat, and the idea is to bring this concept to Brazilian cities. Yeah, Brazil had a major flood last year that affected the south part of Brazil, a big city, Porto Alegre, and flooding is affecting many Brazilian cities. So we are now supporting the transfer of this technology to Brazilian cities, but also exploring how it can also be applied here in Nairobi, which is also a city that has been pretty much affected to flooding. I saw this technology being used in Shanghai, along the rivers. This is very impressive.
Are you excited about all these applications that perhaps can be scalable and replicated in the global south, more cities, to more people?
I'm very excited. China is advancing a lot in terms of technology, and I think this know-how, this expertise can be very much used in many cities. One of the themes that we discussed in this assembly that we just concluded was smart cities, right? So we produced guidelines on people-centered smart cities, and we did that for being mandated by member states. And I think this coincides with the people-centered philosophy from China that we were just discussing before.